what Kill suffers from isn't fatal so long as he's not, doing things to make it worse. Raising stress levels, raising fatigue levels, being malnourished, all the things he's doing to himself, because he's an arrogant, pompous idiot. Stubborn, super stubborn too. Let me throw that in there. Pompous, arrogant, stubborn idiot. Oh yes, and how could I forget? He also went on multiple times to brag about how he has never stolen anything, and that he's never stolen from the university, and that he is not going to start stealing from the university now, and that is why he's going to retire immediately, and that there's a lot of money he's leaving on the table. A lot. He emphasized the a lot a second time in how much money that was still, he's leaving on the table yet. So that's great. Like, that's awesome character, yeah, throw that in everybody's faces too. But so let me again so that's the majority of the things I remember that stick with me, that just I couldn't stand at all, and just further cemented and proved to me on how giantly immeasurable of a douchebag Jerry Kill is. I hate the circumstances that are the reason for his retirement as a coach, and I wish him absolutely nothing but the best health in the world. I really genuinely believe that, or I feel that way. But the guy is just clueless, and that's the way he's always going to be. He's just that type of human being that will never ever learn anything ever that he doesn't already know. Flip Saunders would be out there thanking every coach, or every coach that ever helped teach him the game. He would be out there thanking every owner, president, whatever, that hired him and gave him a chance. He'd be thanking every player that busted their tail for him. He would be thanking his wife for supporting him and sticking by him. Jerry Kill did bring up his wife, and how he sleeps like 1 to 3 hours a night, and she sits there and watches him when he sleeps, and that that's no way to live, and no way to nothing, to force her to live and stuff, and that gives you some real insight as to what is really going on here. Jerry Kill, this is in no way a respectable, admirable, or even all that sad or sympathetic, I should say, of a situation whatsoever. Everybody knew the way things were going into it. He has refused to do his part at all, and just insisted on doing it his way, even knowing that my way is going to make things worse and not work. But it's my way, and that's the only way I'm even going to try to ever do. And then seeing the effect that it has on the people you care about, and not being able to ignore those consequences. He's quitting out of guilt and shame from what he's doing to his wife and the life he's putting her through, just to satisfy his selfish desires. He's retiring out of fear, final reality-based fear of the inevitable consequence of what he's doing to himself, that his doctor's been trying to get sunk into his head for God only knows how long now. And while most people who have made millions of dollars to get to do what they love to do more than anything in the world for over 30 years, and when I say millions, I mean millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, most people in that situation, in retiring would go, it's my heart is still in football. I'm super gonna miss it. I wish it wasn't ending like this. But I don't feel sorry for myself, and you shouldn't feel sorry for me either. I have been immeasurably blessed. Very few people get to do something that they love for a year of their life professionally, let alone for over 30 years of their life professionally. And if they do, very seldom do they get to make as handsome and large and substantial of financial compensation as Jerry Kill has. So instead of acknowledging those truths, Jerry Kill just sits up there with his tears and his pouty face and just keeps throwing a giant pity party for himself. Boo-hoo, it's so terrible to me to be me. I'm not gonna die like Flip Saunders did, more than likely. I just have to stop doing my job and go be retired and live happily ever after with my wife and our millions and millions and millions of dollars. I mean, seriously, how can people be that way? He also expressed how, when he was asked questions on how, he hasn't had time to reflect on anything, and he hasn't thought about this and hasn't thought about that, and you've been coaching for over 30 years. How long do you think people just get to coach because they like to coach? Especially when they're living with epilepsy. Okay? You mean to tell me that you've been living with seizures and epilepsy and failing health for many years of your life, and you've never once given time to think about or reflect on, ending your career as a coach and what your life after that is going to be like, and preparing for that, accepting that inevitability? Give me a freaking break. I don't feel sorry for Jerry Kill 1 ounce, 1 bit, not 0.0000000000001%. Do I feel sympathetic or sorry for Jerry Kill? And professionally, as a person in any way, I feel sympathetic for his health issues, and empathetic, and that's it. I feel sympathy towards his health issues. That is it. Everything else, I feel quite the opposite towards that guy. And I've never liked him. I've always said this guy's just, he's not good. He's not good, people. He's not I can't stand him. I see right through him. Always have. And I did today, even when everybody else in the local media, especially local fan base, national media even a little bit, is going, wow, this speech is so moving because, the guy really loves football, and he's crying, and you can tell how much he loves football. Completely agreed. I said that already, okay? Completely agreed. The guy loves football, and that you can genuinely see in here. But I told you I was going to explain his love to you, and you're really not going to like this. But here it is, okay? If you've noticed a lot of the keywords that I've used in talking about Jerry Kill up until this point, and you're super smart, you would actually know where I'm going with this. But anyway, let me go there officially. Jerry Kill's love of football is absolutely 100% the same as a heroin junkie's love for heroin. But heroin junkies don't love heroin. Yes, they do. Okay? They love it. It is their favorite thing to do in the world. It's their favorite thing to be a part of in the world. It's their favorite. They love it. Okay? When you see and hear the way that Jerry Kill talks about his life, himself, his career, the game of football, his family. He doesn't love the game of football. He doesn't love being a football coach. He is addicted to football and being a football coach. You'd use that word with the heroin junkie because it's what it is. So how come we use the word love with Jerry Kill in this situation? It is not love for the game of football. It's not love for coaching. If it was love for coaching, he would have talked nonstop about the countless young men whose lives he had impacted and who had impacted his life today. That's what he would have talked about. He would have talked about how thankful that he was for the last 30 plus years that he got to be a football coach. He didn't do any of that. He did the opposite of that. He did the freaking opposite of that. He displaced blame off of himself from his own actions that directly correlate and respond to the negative consequences that are causing this outcome. That's an addict. Just do you see it? Like, have you ever go research, the 5 steps, 7 steps, 6 phases, whatever it is, of being an addict, the denial of, you could tell this guy still just didn't get that, no, I'm I'm never going to coach football again. The denial, blame, anger, all these things. And Jerry Kill demonstrated pretty much all of them in his press conference today. I have firsthand studied and researched addiction. I will keep it at that. But I know a lot on the subject. Even though I don't necessarily remember, a lot of the specifics, all the time. But I do have a extremely well-founded, general understanding on the subject. I can also speak as someone who for 20 years has professionally done what I love to do for a living. And as that type of person, as Jerry Kill is, except his was 30 years, I can tell you right now, we all think about it, reflect on it, contemplate it. How long can I do this for? When will I quit? What's going to make me quit? Who am I going to be after that? What's life going to be like? What do I do? Things of that nature. At least all of us who do what we love for a living that aren't arrogant douchebags who are just total morons with our heads so far up our butt, that we can't see the truth frickin' staring us in the face. So I was personally offended as well listening to his speech as, like I said, a human being who for multiple decades has made a living doing what I love to do. Loving to do something doesn't entitle you to the right to do it professionally. Being good at something doesn't entitle you to the right to do it professionally. Loving to do something that you're really good at doing doesn't entitle you to the right to do it professionally. Period. And like I said, if you're not a pompous jerk and you're in those situations in your life, you've thought about these things and you've acknowledged that reality, and you're braced for it best you can. But not former Gophers coach Jerry Kill, who as of today is officially retired from coaching head football. Again, wish you nothing but the best health in the world moving forward.